Hey folks, sorry it's running a few minutes late today. I logged in and wanted to get started here, and all of a sudden Facebook had changed their whole interface for how you do live streams. So I had to play with that a little bit and get Mandy to help me figure out a couple things. And yep, so I'm sorry I'm starting about 5 minutes later than usual. But hey, see people starting to roll in. Appreciate you guys showing up tonight. Excellent, excellent. Trying to give it just a couple minutes here to see people start coming in. Um, since the last time I talked with you folks, just want to give a big nod of appreciation to Joe Rosenik and all of the great AFA family that we have in the Pacific Northwest. Um, it was a very special thing. I got to go to their Charming of the Plow event, and it was a smashing success. Those guys did an amazing job. Their event was fantastic. This is the second year that they did their event there locally, and it was just such a great time had by everybody, and the turnout was amazing. Joe had it all figured out and planned out and ran like clockwork. We're all very, very excited about it, and we're planning to do that again next year. But this time, the difference next year is Charming of the Plow in the Northwest is going to be an AFA national event in 2021. So we're really going to try to run with that momentum and make something special, so everybody else can experience the special time that we had. Again, thank you, Joe, for the wonderful event you put on, and all of our members who made that happen up in the Northwest. Thank you, guys. Rob, I get that it's humorous, but LaCroix is disgusting. I think you know that deep down inside. Anyways, um, other news to just kind of start off the top of things, I guess, is if you guys can make it, we've got Ostara coming up. Ostara in the South is going to be fantastic. Um, a lot of work's gone into that this year of making that really something special. Uh, we are we are looking forward to seeing all of you guys at Ostara in the South if y'all can make it. Just got it's got like 2 weeks now until that event, so if you can, if you're interested, please reach out to your folk builder, let them know. We'll get you all set up. I'm looking forward to seeing our AFA family in that part of the country that I haven't seen in a year. Looking forward to spending time there, to celebrating, and it's just going to be an amazing event. We're really looking forward to it. Um, so I've got a number of you guys joining us so far. Uh, I guess to jump right in, um, you guys got any questions? Since last time we talked, is there anything on your mind? Anything you want to discuss? Anything you want to hear me jabber on about? Hmm. Okay, cool enough. Be thinking if there is anything you guys do want to talk about. Hey, Eric, good to see you. Um, yeah, or any questions. One thing, and I don't know if you guys are noticing, but every week I'm trying to post an article. So far they've been from the old editions of the Runestone. As the AFA is celebrating our 25th year this year, we're trying to take a look back and learn a little bit more about our history and where we come from. Along with posting those every week, I've been going through and loading more documents into our library section on the website. So, uh, hey, Jack, it's good to see you. Jack's a good friend of mine, worked with me when I was down in Florida. I miss you. I miss all the guys down there, Jack. Um, what I was saying is, yeah, I've loaded up a lot of stuff from 2002 to 2005. So go check up there, see what you can see. Take a look. I'm hoping when I post those articles on AFA history and what we've been up to that it provokes some kind of you know questions? Are you guys wondering, any of those things? So do make sure you take a look, and if you have anything you want to talk about, I'd love to chat with you about it if you want. Hey, Gabriel, we missed you this weekend. I hope you and your family are doing really good. Actually, I hope everybody had an amazing Charming of the Plow. It's been really nice to watch all of the event pictures go in from everybody's local events, some bigger, some just a family in their living room, but seeing all of our AFA family across the country and around the world celebrating together is really a special thing. And it's something that just about every weekend we can look forward to. And those pictures mean a lot, not just to me, but to the other folks out there that are wondering if it's something they can do or how to get started really participating in those kind of events, especially if they don't have something going on in their area. It's very encouraging to see our kindreds and folks get together and celebrate those things and share a meal and get together at, at a park or at a restaurant or wherever they might be and celebrate together. There's um, something really special that simultaneously around the world we have our people standing together, worshiping our gods, honoring one of our fallen heroes. Um, just kind of as a thought exercise, imagining that, those heroes of Asatru, and we have some modern ones, but we also have some ones from the Viking Age that we celebrate. Imagine them 1,000 years later having people around the world in lands they've never heard of raising a horn in their name and celebrating their deeds. And I think that's really important that we do that. And hopefully, you know, if if we prove ourselves worthy, we'll have people 1,000 years from now gathered around singing our praises of deeds that we've done. At least that's the goal. Welcome to folks that have just joined us. Um, yeah, these things are usually kind of a question and answer deal. So, does anybody have anything they want to ask or anything they want to get my take on or anything like that? Okay. Well, please chime in if you do. Um, Excellent. Thank you, Katie. You saved me there. There's a lot of dead air. Thoughts on the next Hoff and have we chosen a city? So, since the last time that we've talked, there have been some developments, and it's gotten out in the ether a little bit about Hoff 2 and what our plans are. Um, I've been I've been trying to keep that under wraps as best I can, so as not to build up false hope because we tried on it for a really long time. I swore to you guys that as soon as we paid off Odenshoff, we would be setting out on trying to find that second Hoff. And I told you guys that the best way to get a Hoff in your area is to help us pay off Odenshoff. And I want you guys to know we paid off Odenshoff the first of the year 2000 or yeah 2019, or we tried to time it so we did it right at New Year's there. So either on the 31st of 2018 or the first of 2019, depending on how you look at it. But anyways, from that day, I think that month, as a matter of fact, we started seriously looking at that second half, and we made a lot of efforts. A lot of those didn't pan out, so that's why I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. But we did have to talk about it a little bit, and the way it looks right now in our sincere plan, we are in a very serious arrangement on a fantastic property in North Carolina. Um, it looks absolutely amazing. If everything goes according to plan and if it's approved by the gods, hopefully that'll be coming through here real soon, and I'll have some very, very good days for you. Um, And when I say real soon, we should know something definitive on that here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, to answer your question, we've put a lot of thought in case anything were to go awry. We have a couple of other things to look at as far as plan Bs on it. But as it is right now, really amazing property in North Carolina. We have some people who've put in a lot of effort to make that happen. So I'm excited to be able to tell you guys some really, really special news here soon. Oh, wow. I didn't realize you were coming. You were part of the caravan going down to Ostara. That'll be great. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Um, it's always good to see you guys. Uh, anyone not watching the side chat, looks like we've got a really sizable contingent of folks coming from the Dakotas and from Minnesota all the way down to South Carolina for our Ostara in the South. So that's going to be a really special thing to have those guys there. I think it's some of our very best members from different parts of the country getting to meet each other and spend time with each other for the first time, and that's always a great thing. Um, what else do we got going on, guys? Is there anything else that you want to talk about, or any questions, or anything on y'all's mind? Well, I got a couple of things on my mind with everyone celebrating the charming of the plow, and now with us heading into springtime. Uh, as the year kicks off, one thing I think is so important to our folk, to who we are, is that we make things happen. We don't sit idly by and let things happen to us. We don't sit back and hope for the best. We go out and make our will manifest in the world. So much of charming the plow is about charming an implement of our will that breaks that hard soil, that breaks through blockages and forces the seeds of what we want to occur in this world to happen, forces those things to be implanted in the ground to take root. It's so important that we have the willpower and the motivation within ourselves to inflict our will upon the world, to make the things we happen, to make our dreams come true. And that's really fundamental to what this season is all about for us. So I want us to be mindful of that as we go into spring with everything, all of the new life that's about to explode in the coming month or two, all of the blooms and the blossoms. Let's go out and hit the ground running, making things happen, doing great deeds, planting seeds, and watching them grow. Joined by Johnny. Johnny Larson, our one of our newest folk builders. Um, those of you haven't taken note of it this last 2 weeks, we've got Johnny stepping up as our newest apprentice folk builder in the Northwest region. He's going to be helping Joe out. He's going to be covering a lot of that area. Like I said, from the Charming of the Plow I went to, it's a very vibrant region, a lot of interest, a lot of really great people, and Johnny's going to be a big part of capitalizing on that momentum and really making stuff happen. Something else for you guys to note since last time we talked, we have another apprentice folk builder that's joined us. We have Massimo Nobili in northern Italy, and he's our first folk builder we've ever had from Italy, and he's going to be helping Andrews over in AFA Europe. And he's got a big job ahead of him because it's not just his job to build Italy, but to work on building our AFA family in all of Europe. And I'm very excited to have Massimo on the team. I got to meet him at Ultima Thule. He went all the way up to Sweden to be at our event. Um, just a tremendously devoted guy. I mean, you can see it in his face, you can hear it in his voice. He's so proud and so happy to be part of what we're doing, and I'm very, very excited to see all the success he's going to have over there. Also, and I mentioned it and I shared something on the AFA page, Massimo's hosting our first ever AFA event in Italy. and he's looking to bring together all of our AFA Europe members there in northern Italy to have a weekend event. And he's already got a lot of people signed up for it. I know a bunch of our Scandinavian folk are going to go join him. We also have some people from Ireland going to go see him over there. A member from Switzerland going to go be part of that. So um, if you have the ability, by all means, go over and support that and see what you can do to make that happen. It's very, very exciting to see our people coming home in our ancestral homelands. Um, Also, since last time we've talked, we've got the Aska folk kindred, which I talked to you about Johnny a second ago, but that's his kindred going on in um, coastal Oregon. And that's very excited. Those guys have been working on putting together a kindred for a long time now. So we're very excited to see them grow and see them be successful. We also have a new kindred in Norway. Finally, our first ever Norwegian kindred. Um, Werner put that together along with Rogier and some other gentlemen that we have in Norway. And very excited to see that happen. I got to meet some of those guys when I was on my way to Ultima Thule last year. Flight ended up stopping in Oslo, and we met some of those guys for a little bit there and visited the Viking Ship Museum, and it was amazing. So announcing the establishment of Noreger kindred in Norway. Um, very proud to have that happen. Uh, I say this a lot, but for those that hadn't heard it before, the AFA has got membership now in 15 different countries around the world. So that's something really special. And it always amazes me when people think that the AFA is just a West Coast phenomenon. Um, that hasn't been the case for for a very long time. Over these 25 years, the AFA has expanded certainly across the United States in a big way, but also around the world. And we see that certainly reflected in our Kindred program. Hey, Brad, good to see you. Oh, we have Sheila joining us. Good to see you, Sheila. Sheila did an amazing job hosting Charming the Plow at Odenshoff this last week. Um, that was fantastic. So many new faces at our Odenshoff event this last weekend. It was really something great to see. On the topic of new faces, one of the things about the newest of faces is the continuing AFA baby boom. I think already this year we have on the docket 20 AFA babies scheduled to join us this year. So that's something really amazing to see. I think we were at 22 for last year, and this year's barely started. So I know we'll have more and beat that number. Um, so that's a fantastic thing to see. So anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything they want to talk about or anything they want to ask? Any curiosities they might have? I can just kind of keep throwing stuff at you, stream of consciousness here, but I'd love it if anybody did have anything on their mind or anything they. Uh-oh. My wife just chimed in. I was incorrect when I said 20. We've got 21 scheduled for this year so far. So that's fantastic news. Those are just the ones we know about. As some of them get a little bit closer to being born, I'm sure we'll find out. And still got a little bit of time for people to make some new babies if they want to have them on that list. So y'all know what to do. Hmm. All right. Well, while you guys are thinking up questions to ask, a couple of things have come to mind. One thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately is our a focus of pride in Asatru, and pride as it relates to how we approach our gods. I think a lot has been made of standing proudly before the gods, and I think it's easy to see the outward reflection of, you know, standing self-assured as you approach the divine. And I know I've talked about the attitude that we need to approach divinity with before. But one thing as relates to pride that I think is fundamental is not just for us to act proud, but for us to make sure that we're the kind of people that ought to be proud of ourselves. But furthermore, so much of what we do is about standing in ritual context, about interacting with each other in a sacred space, and about approaching our gods. It's why at AFA events we like to start off with a greeting of the gods to make a meta ritual out of it. So we're always mindful that we're doing something sacred. And what I think is a really important component of pride is wanting our gods to be proud of us, standing before them in a way, not that we, I'm trying to think of the best way to express this. We shouldn't stand before them as if we're too good to be ashamed. We should stand before them as if we don't have anything to be ashamed of, not because that's not a concept, but because we have made ourselves people who can stand proudly. We've justified that stance by being good folk, by living right. And I think the idea of living right, knowing that we are right when we stand before our gods, and being able to look them in the face, for lack of a better term, is really important. And we're not always going to be perfect on it. We all have a long way to go. But I think keeping that in mind, wanting to stand before the gods as a folk, as a people, and as individuals that they can be proud of, and that our ancestors can be proud of. That desire to want our ancestors and our gods proud of us should affect all the things we do. And I think it's really important that we keep that in mind. I think it's important we keep that in mind and help instill that in new folks and in kids, that we want to be proud of ourselves because the gods of the ancestors ought to be proud of us too. We want to have pride in ourselves, and we want those who look upon us, who stand with us, and who look back across the veil, we want them to be proud of us as well. It's kind of rambling. I hope I got the point across. But that idea of being people worthy of that pride is really important. David, that's unfortunate. I'm sad that you're not going to be able to attend the Ostara in the South. Um, Trying to think of any ways that you might get help. Man that you really want to reach out to is Gothi Blaine Qualls. He has done so much to set up this event and make it successful. He might have some ideas on some last minute things that we could use help with as far as that event. I appreciate you stepping forward. It really says something when somebody can't attend an event themselves or reap the benefit, but they're still willing to step up and offer their help. It's a really good thing. Thank you for that, David. Brad, I'm glad you asked me about that. So, trying to think what time frame that I told you guys we were going to do that, or when we talked about it, but it's been very important to me, certainly throughout this last year, that we establish a place and a process for interring the ashes of our loved ones and of our folk in holy ground, in a place that's sacred to us. Um, I think that's fundamental with any religious practice, is that ceremonial burial. Um, so in doing that, we looked into it a lot as far as rules, regulations, how it all works, as far as being able to do that, because we have a section at Odenshoff set aside that we would like to do that with. Well, as dealing with most governments, without paying money and submitting to something, it's very, very hard to get a yes. But we were unable to find any no's. So we're committed to being able to inter ashes at Odenshoff. We have an area set aside to do that, and we have a plan going in. Um, and this is, we don't want that to fill up too quickly because hopefully our people all live very long, full lives. But as the need develops, that spot's there. We have one family that has talked about putting the ashes of their daughter there. They've held on to these ashes for a very long time because until now there was no way to put them in a sacred place for us. We didn't have our spot, our burial ground. But I'm glad to say that we do now. But we're waiting on that family to feel comfortable and be ready to inter those ashes. But the moment we have somebody that needs to be interred, we have a spot, we have a plan, and that's absolutely going down at Odenshoff. And it's good that you mentioned it because this last weekend I had a really great interaction with a guy. It's such a cemeteries and tombstones and the science of how we deal with the dead is such a specialized thing, and it's not every day that you run into someone who does that professionally, who's made their life on that. Well, we have a good friend of the AFA here that came out and went over some plans with me. His family has been in the cemetery business for generations, going back hundreds of years into the old country. But here, I say here, but by the Hoff in California, they've been doing business there since his grandfather for 100 years next year. So this gentleman talked with us a lot about best way to lay it out, how to do that, some kind of pro tips on ways to make it special, and kind of best practices on how to do it. So we stand ready as soon as we have remains that need to be interred there. And in the meantime, we're going to be building a better laid out, better put together spot. So we're prepared for the future, and we have spaces and a process laid out to where it's easy when other families need a place for their loved ones. We would love to have them at Odenshoff, and we'll have a spot for them. Katrina, that is a really, really good idea. Um, I know that some folks do that in their local areas as um, like a book study group, but they've done it over live chats if they haven't been close enough. I know some guys have talked about doing that regionally. I think that would be a really nice thing. I would love to see some of that happen. I think some of that's going to end up happening organically in our youth program. But yeah, I would really like to see some of that happen. And if you want to reach out, if you have any ideas on it or ideas on exactly what you want to see, I'd love to see some of that get put together in the near future. Um, Live streams are a really, really interesting tool and a really, I don't know, fun and I think effective way to use social media. Um, been doing these myself now for, I think this is the 14th one I've done of these monthlies talking to you guys, and I know it's something I look forward to every month. Um, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback, and we've got a lot of people who've become interested because of them. So, um, yeah, I think they're great, and I think doing one on educational topics would be a really, really nice thing to do. All right, guys, what else do we got? Do we have any other questions or any other things you guys would like to speak about tonight? If we do, another thing to just note, guys, I know that sometimes after these people get frustrated because they asked questions and somehow in a Facebook filtering process they never got through. I am going to go over, tonight and tomorrow any comments on this, and if people have questions that didn't get answered, I'm going to do my best to answer them. Um, if folks have stuff they just think about, or if folks miss it and ask questions on there, I'll do my best to answer them that way. If your question doesn't get answered, it's not a slight to you. It's not because anybody's ducking you. It's just simply because we don't get them all from Facebook somehow. And we're working on tightening that up and figuring it out a little bit better. But like I said, give it a little bit. Please feel free to ask afterwards and we'll get to it. I know we've had a couple of people in the past that asked questions and felt like they were getting ignored and got a little bit grumpy about it. So that's why I'm letting you guys know now. Absolutely, Will. I was talking about Massimo earlier. It's really special to have um, such an amazing guy over there working for us in Italy and making that happen. He's doing amazing stuff. I think very highly of him, so I'm really excited to see what goes on there. Hmm. Well, I mentioned it earlier, and I might as well throw it out there while I've got you guys. If you have kids and if you want them involved with the AFA Youth Program, we're entering into month 3 of that program, and so far we've gotten really good reaction. It has evolved far beyond what we had initially thought possible in such a short amount of time. Uh, we got Jessica Lambert and Brandy Callahan working on that program, and Brandy has put in so much work on really making that something special. Her and her family's participation in it has made all the difference. And yeah, I could not be prouder of how that's working so far. So please, if you are interested, youth at runestone.org. Um, it's for kids 6 to 18. So far, kids are loving it. One of the things we're trying to be really reflexive to is the participants in it. Are the kids getting something out of it? Do they like doing it? And we're trying to adjust accordingly. So it's a program that's going to continue to evolve and, you know, step up to the occasion to meet the needs and the desires of our folk. But yeah, Brandy's doing an amazing job, and we would love to have more kids in that. That's something we're very excited about and very proud of. Rob, yes, we do need 25th anniversary merch. Right now on the website, we have the 25th anniversary flag. Get with me afterwards and we can try to figure out some merch ideas. Sean Sandin, the guy that has run our store for a really long time, he has had a very, very rough fall and winter. He's been trying to keep up as best that he can, but we're going to have some changes in the store and how that's working and hopefully we'll get some 25th anniversary merchandise up there soon. But if you don't have one, go out and get the 25th anniversary flag. It's really nice, and it's not going to be sold after this year, so get yours today. Um, so Katie's giving me a piece of wisdom here that she's got to look on her phone and at the stream on the side to get all the little comments. I've tried that too. I know it's distracting when I'm sitting here talking to you and then I'm looking down and staring at my phone. I try to do it the best I can. Also, we've got Mandy downstairs in another room where she's at right now, trying to help me monitor as well. So we catch stuff that I miss. And she's really good about throwing up dates and facts on the side because she's got the time to look them up. So, yeah, but thank you for pointing that out, Katie. I'll try to use my phone a little bit more just to make sure on it. Michael, good. I'm glad. Uh, be sure to check it out. And if it's something you get involved in and your kids are involved in, be sure to let us know what you think. So the shout out on the AFA youth program, not just if you got kids and you want them to join, but also if you feel like you have something to offer to the kids, if you have ideas of stuff that you think would be useful, if you hear about stuff that's missing and you think you're that missing, excuse me, that you could be that missing piece, please also reach out to youth at runestone.org. These things are Their success or failure is based in large part on our volunteers' desire and willingness to step up and put in the effort. Right now, it's going super strong because we have some amazing people working on it. If we want to keep it going super strong, then we need amazing people to continue stepping forward and wanting to make that happen. So, like I said, you got any ideas or any feedback? That's always welcome as well. Hail Mandy, indeed. I'm a very very fortunate man. See, look at that, guys. Michael says the flag's awesome. Yeah, I really like the AFA flag. Um, Inside baseball on it, it kind of turned out to be a happy accident. It was misordered a little bit. It was originally going to be on a completely dark blue field, but it being on that white field really makes the AFA blue pop. And yeah, I think it looks so much better this way. So sometimes neat little things like that happen. No, David, I'd be really glad to talk to you about that. You've heard some of the crickets when I ask for questions. I'm happy to talk to you about that. Um, there are a lot of people wearing hammers today. First, just in general, there are a lot of people wearing hammers today, and that's fantastic. No equivocation, no qualification. People, the increase in folks wearing Mjolnirs is a great thing. Now, as you mentioned, there's a number of people that wear a hammer that may not be on the same page you and I are on. And I don't think that's a bad thing, assuming there are folk. Uh, them wearing that hammer is certainly a gateway. It opens up the conversation, it makes them aware of something, and it plants that seed. Um, you mentioned some advice on how to react to it. If people notice your hammer, I think that's a great thing. I've noticed in the past, probably a little bit more, but certainly in the last 5 years, a lot of people have noticed my hammer. And not just, oh, that's a nice hammer, but enough people even knowing the name Mjolnir. Um, I've even had people notice it and ask if I was an Odinist or if I was Asatru. So those are really great questions, and it means that people are starting to realize that we're here, that this is a viable faith. And I think that's all very positive. In the worst case scenario, if you ask them about the hammer, you see the hammer, you compliment it, ask them if they're Asatru, and if they say what, then cool. That's a great segue into a little conversation. It doesn't have to be deep, but let them know what it is and see. Maybe they're very interested. Maybe like, nah, it's just a cultural thing. I'm Norwegian or whatever they might say. Well, great. That means they're aware of their roots. They're aware they have a culture. They're aware they have a history, and that they're aware that before the Abrahamic faiths, our people had gods. Our people had religion. Our people had that. And that may awaken something in them to realize that they may want that again for themselves and want to be part of, the things that we all are able to share. So I think everybody wearing hammers, it's a good thing. I don't think it really dilutes what we do. I mean, maybe there's a point that it would, but I think currently it doesn't devalue anything that we're doing. I think it's a good opportunity to bring our folk home. Brandy, you missed it. We were just talking about what a great job you've been doing on the AFA youth program. And I did encourage folks to reach out to you if they've got kids that they want involved or if they want to help or have ideas that they want to see happening. Um, someone is in, apparently there was a question that got missed that somebody, I assume my wife is taking care of on the other end, about how long it takes for the membership process to go through. To give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes on how that works, when you apply to join the Asatru Folk Assembly, you may not hear something back immediately, And the reason for that is that sometimes we try to keep it to about a week of, looking into new folks that apply, checking them out, seeing if they're who they say they are, seeing if they're the kind of people that we want around our AFA family, around our kids, and around our members, and seeing if there's any big red flags on those. And if we see a red flag, it doesn't mean, it's not an automatic exclusion, but it does mean we try to have a conversation and test that out. There's only so much we can do, and we can't be perfect on screening everybody, but we do try on the back end. So that's why it may take up to a week for somebody to contact you. Other thing is, if you apply for the AFA and nobody's reached out to you in forever and you don't know why, please make sure to check spam folders. One of the things that's really frustrating with AFA emails, sometimes they just don't make it to people's inbox. I don't know what it is. I don't think there's some big conspiracy behind it, but at the end of the day, our database and the software that we have, sometimes stuff just ends up in people's spam folder. So if you get curious or you think somebody should have contacted you by now or hadn't, or maybe if you reached out with a question and you feel like no one ever answered you, please check your spam folder just in case. And in any of those things, if you ever feel like you've reached out and nobody's got a hold of you or you want to check on anything, you can always get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me here on Facebook. You can email mattflavel@runestone.org. But please always feel free to reach out to me, and I will do my best to answer whatever you need, or I'll get to the bottom of it, or both. So, yeah, if anything ever gets lost in the system or whatnot, please do reach out to me, and we'll get it all figured out. AFA Youth Program is amazing. Yeah, Michael, I found that too. It is nice with everybody wearing hammer, or with so many people wearing hammers. It's a really good conversation starter for us. And same when somebody notices your hammer. One of the best ways that you can let folks know that we're out there and spread Asatru in your own, in your own humble way is just wearing your hammer on the outside, wearing your hammer outside your shirt when you go places, and have people ask about it. And when they do, tell them. And tell them you're part of the Asatru Folk Assembly. Give them our website address and see where it goes. Maybe it won't go anywhere. Maybe it'll be huge and we'll get great members out of it. There's very little to lose and there's a whole lot to gain on it. Got any other questions tonight or anything on folks' mind they want to talk about or discuss? I'm taking all questions right now. Suppose to while people are thinking up some questions for me, I suppose to I don't know, piggyback on what I just said a second ago. Not only if you I don't know, something fell through the cracks and you need to get a hold of me, please do. But just like this, any of these questions, I try to take them live because I feel there's a better connection when, I can quote unquote look you in the eye, when I can have my face and my voice and answer questions this way. I think my intention in the answers comes across better. But anytime that you want to reach out privately, if there's something you don't want to ask publicly like this, or if you just didn't get a chance, I really, really mean it. I love my AFA family. My door is always open. If you guys have something you want to ask or something you need help with or want to talk about, please do reach out to me. It's important, and I will do my best to get you answers or to get you someone who has them and get stuff squared away. So, every month I'm here to answer anybody's questions, but it doesn't just stop when the live stream stops. So please do keep that in mind. Katie, you propose that we eventually have an AFA homeschooling program. I second that. Let's do that. I don't know where we're at right now to launch that or anything, but I would love to do that. I know we have a lot of AFA parents that homeschool. Um, I'm planning on welcoming my baby daughter into the world. Um, my new little baby daughter coming into the world on scheduled for the 17th of April, and she'll be homeschooled. So I know we have a lot of folks, a lot of parents homeschooling their kids. I would really like for us to be able to pool resources on that and make the best out of that. So yeah, Katie, get with me after this, get with me at another time, and let's try to work on making that a real thing. Astru's approach to diseases and viruses in general, or this coronavirus going around. I think one important thing to Asatru when it comes to disease control or anything else, we are a practical people. Um, let's do stuff that works. Let's be, just as I said, let's not be victims of letting things happen to us. Let's take steps we need to take to prevent things from happening that we don't want, um, and be the masters of our own destiny in that sense. Uh, I don't have any great sweeping answer about diseases. Um, or how you choose to handle them. But I think that us being cautious and seeing things before they become a problem is really smart. And I think that if we, this is kind of a common sense thing, but it goes, it's worth saying. Wash your hands, be clean people, don't be filthy. Watch when you're around filthy people to take precautions. Um, but I think that that's strong, and I think that yeah, I think one of the other things is to hold the line when there's scary disease things. When we hear media reports of this coronavirus and how terrible it is, and I don't want to take away from the gravity of it at all, but keep your head about you and don't panic. I think that one of the noble things that we can do as noble people in True is not panic about disease and not panic because the media tells you to panic. Keep our wits, take appropriate precautions, but have a steely resolve to live our lives and to carry on and to not let these kind of things panic you and cause you to act out of fear. We don't ever want to act out of fear. We want to act out of calculated, precise decisions that we've made on accurate information and that we've made using wisdom. Wisdom needs to be our guide, and never fear and panic. So I think that's about the best I have to say about Astra's approach to disease, specifically with the coronavirus situation. Mhm. Yay, Fawn, you did make it. I'm only with you guys for a few more minutes because I've got a Witten meeting that's butting right back up against this. So I am going to have to let you guys go here at 7 o'clock, but I'm glad you were able to make it on just for a couple minutes. Um, hmm. Is there any last minute things? Yeah, any last minute things anybody wanted to ask? Um, and I don't think I didn't see the comment about David Lane's writings. I'm happy to talk to somebody about that, but it's such a hot button thing just as that. If there's a specific statement or a specific idea of David Lane's that you want some kind of a reaction on or you want to know what I think on, then please feel free to ask that. I think, with 6 minutes left, it's too big of a thing to just, I don't know, have some big blanket commentary on all of the man's writings or all of the man's beliefs. But if there's a specific idea or something that you guys like to speak of or whatever, do email me that or message me that, and I would be glad to talk to you about whatever you'd like, Wayne. Um, Hi, Aaron. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on these. Some nights we have more questions than others, but I look forward to it all the time. It's great to talk with you guys. I really do love my AFA family, and I look forward to this every month. I do have a few more minutes here. If anybody has some quick questions or anything they want me to speak on, I'd be happy to. Yeah, please do let me know or do ask if you have anything here. We do have a couple of more minutes, and like I said, I don't want anybody to get left out if they have something and it hasn't been addressed. People coming in late or people that didn't hear me earlier, I will go over these things and try to answer stuff after this. So if something occurs to you and I just didn't have time to get to it, or if you sent it and for some reason I didn't see it or it didn't get to me, Facebook kind of filters the comments strangely. Go ahead and ask, and I will try to get back to those in the next day or so. Um, questions going once, questions going twice. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that I see you guys at Ostara in the South. That's going to be a fantastic event. If you can make it, by all means, you need to, because, like I said, it really is going to be amazing. We've got great people that put a lot of time into it. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys in April if I haven't talked to you before then. I hope you guys have an amazing month, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Ostara. Hail the gods, hail the folk, hail the AFA.